Haaland just had been brought up, not too happy, behaving like a spoiled brat, but because they win the game, he scores goals, it's almost forgotten about.
Spoiled brat, that's all right if you score 4 goals, isn't it?
No, not really. No, because no, it's not.
All right. Might pick up on that a little later on.
No problem.
Merry Christmas to all my viewers, and we'll get back to Roy in just a quick second. But remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, if you think I'm talking rubbish, please put it in the comments. That's fine by me. I read all the comments. But if you've got something that you want to sort of add that hasn't been mentioned, that piques your interest, or that you remember from back in the day, or anything at all, please put it in the comments. Questions, anything you want in the comments. But on this one, I wanted it to be another fun one. I made a nice fun one yesterday, given my greatest Man United 11, and this one I wanted to have a little fun look back at Roy Keane from this year. And in this clip, we are going to see Roy Keane verbally destroy the people around him and the people that he's watching in the Punditry studio. But he's doing it in a fun kind of way, because I've said this many times before on my videos. Roy Keane is a pantomime villain, and this little selection of clips is a perfect illustration of that. For those people of a certain age, remember Gladiators, remember Wolf? Well, Roy Keane was, or is, the wolf of punditry in this day and age. Now, while you're watching this, I want you to think about your favourite moments of Roy Keane, not just from his punditry days, but also from his playing days. Because let's reminisce about not only an entertaining pundit, but also an absolutely fantastic player. Anyway, enough of me for now. We're going to get to Roy right now, and afterwards I'm going to be sharing my memories of the great man himself. Here's Roy.
Not just today, I think his laying stuff off, living headers or whatever it might be. In terms of front of goal, he's best in the world. But for his general play, for such a player, it is so poor. Not just today, I think he has to improve that. He's almost like a League Two player. That's the way I look at him. We're giving Spurs loads of credit. Spurs are having a very good season, a lot of injury problems. Spurs with this, Spurs with that. They drew the game. They didn't come and win it all, Trafford. It was a draw.
A lot of players out there, Roy, aren't they?
Man United missing some players. It's amazing when we do a TV game, we end up speaking for about an hour about players who weren't here. It's about the players who were out there. That's, if you want to be a big club, you have to deal with setbacks.
But we're not Spurs the better team today?
They were the better team, yeah. But we can't sit here and then go overboard on Spurs and say Spurs are outstanding. We heard it from the manager. He's obviously going to praise his players. The staff got praise, the coaching, the bus driver got praise. Everyone's getting praise. Listen, it was against a poor Man United team on a difficult place. It was 2-2. Everyone relax.
Today, Erling Haaland made the point that he's not a bad sub to bring on at this stage of a game, at this stage of a season. What sort of level would you have his general play at today?
He was very much like a championship player. He's improved a lot. When we played Spurs, he would say, look, lads, remember it's Spurs, but this is a much stronger Spurs team now.
I obviously wasn't playing in those games.
No, you were injured. You were injured, Jamie, yeah. That was a relief to everyone, because it was Bex at the time, and obviously Bex was so high profile, and you know, like Jamie, a good-looking guy, you know what I mean?
Oh, thanks,
that
man.
created one or two issues. I'd probably want to be in City's camp, but I'd also look at Arsenal the weekend, and they're big and strong, and they're scoring goals, they're solid at the back, and I wouldn't be so bad to be in the Liverpool camp. If you're asking me, I went with Liverpool last week. Am I allowed to change my mind?
How's the atmosphere over in Chicago? Are you missing us? I got your mate in the studio here. Why are you not here? You scared? You running scared? What's happening?
I can't be in the same room than Roy Keane, so I'm better being in Chicago. He was always scared of me, and I think every time that he was facing me.
Patrick, you know I was never scared of you. You are kidding yourself. Haaland just had been brought up, not too happy, behaving like a spoiled brat, but because they win the game, he scores goals, it's almost forgotten about.
Spoiled brat, that's all right if you score 4 goals, isn't it?
No, not really. No, because no, it's not.
All right. Might pick up on that a little later on.
No problem.
You don't want to spoil the fight? No.
Not tonight. Not
Okay,
tonight. Next week. Next week.
I know. Thank you.
I'll be waiting.
Oh no. Roy, thank you. And I wait for you.
He thinks you're going to go for him.
He's got you all wrong. I'm always nice to him.
Yeah.
Perception.
What should they have paid for Roy Keane back in the day?
Don't embarrass me now.
Roy Keane's going to do the job.
See, it's not about how you start, but how you finish. that continues your unbeaten run, doesn't it, Roy? In amateur boxing.
Actually, I wish I would believe what he was saying.
How much do you weigh? I'm 16 and a half stone.
Is that where you are?
Yeah, proper heavyweight.
I'm about 12 and a half stone, so...
I'd eat you for
You'd be-
lunch.
Why did you
You'd be
look at me? I
favourite.
don't know what you weigh.
You'd be favourite, Mike. I'd say.
Favourite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be favourite.
Okay. Take a draw?
Take a draw now.
Take a
yeah.
draw.
One final look at the star of the show before.
Cardi B.
I feel like I'm MVP. It feels like a reward.
Oh, so you want loyalty? Get yourself a dog.
See a film that everyone's told you is amazing, and it sort of sometimes puts you off a little bit. I saw the premiere of the first one the other night. I don't want to say too much. All I'm going to say is I'm excited for you. I'm excited. I think there's a bit of you in this, Roy.
It looks good. Yeah. The dream job, isn't it? That's it.
What I like about Roy Keane is he knows exactly what he's doing. And this video is a perfect illustration. Perfect illustration, because he knows exactly what he's doing and he knows what his perception of himself is to other people. So he'll give like a really harsh, funny quip, but then you'll just see that little wry grin, and then that just lets the other people know that he's taking the mick a little bit. And I really like that about Roy Keane. He's a very intuitive kind of gentleman, really. And you know, it's kind of funny because it makes you wonder why he didn't really make it as a manager, because he seems to be really personable. Everyone seems to respect him. And he's been doing punditry for quite a while now. It must be a decade now, surely. So, you know, why couldn't that translate over to sort of the sports aspect of it? Perhaps it's when his competitive drive kicks in, it just gives him a little bit too much of an edge for the players, and the players are a lot different now. You know, they're pampered a lot, and they're a lot more sensitive. So perhaps that's it. Maybe he's just a guy from a different time. But Roy Keane he seems to be taking to this performance aspect of analysis, he's taking it to heart, and it's great to see him sort of double up with like Ian Wright, and it's great to see him double up with, say, Micah Richards as well. You know, it's almost like good cop, bad cop. So I really like that about Roy Keane. But my earliest memories of Roy Keane was probably the first game I ever saw, which I've mentioned on another video before. It's when the first game I ever watched was Manchester United versus Manchester City at Main Road. This was long before Man City were what they are now. But it was still a big game because it was a derby, and Man City went 2-0 up, and Man United came back to make it 2-2, 2 goals from Eric Cantona, and then Roy Keane, the new signing of that season, and got the winning goal on something like the 80th minute. And that's my earliest memory of Roy Keane. And there was a perception of Roy being a little bit of a thug, but I always remembered we always seemed to play better when he was in the team. And that was never more illustrated than when he did his cruciate and he was out for 12 months. And Nicky Butt did a really good job to fill in for him in the 97-98 season. But that team just kind of ran out of steam that year, and Arsenal went on and done the double. But you know, we missed Roy Keane's dynamism and in midfield and his leadership. But you know, no disrespect to Nicky Butt, because he was a really good player. But Nicky Butt would be worth 80 million in today's market, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, it's no mistake that 12 months later we done the treble. Classical trained actor can't speak. Yeah, but it's no coincidence that 12 months later that we won the treble with Roy Keane as captain fantastic in midfield. But see, the thing is, what I always think about now, because obviously Man United have been crap by Man United standards, even though we've won more trophies than Liverpool and Arsenal in the 10 years since Fergie retired. Yeah, Man United are in the banter era, but we're still winning trophies. But by Man United standards, we have been crap, and we have, to be fair. And I started supporting Manchester United the season they'd done the double for the first time. So that was 93-94. So they were already Premier League champions. They already had a good side. So one could argue that back then I might have been a glory supporter. Although I would say that I think I've earned my true supporter status by enduring this past 10 years without any kind of wobble, and the fact that I've got a fan channel as well. Anyway, I digress. But I mean, I look back now at the team that we had between, say, 93 and 2013, and we were spoiled. I mean, you took for granted that you had a player like Roy Keane in the team. You took for granted that you had a player like David Beckham in the team. Giggs, Scholes. You took these guys for granted because you grew up with them. And you only know something is something by comparison to something else. So we weren't used to having crap players in the team. We were just always used to having great players. But you look back now at some of the highlight reels of Roy Keane. He was bombing all over the place, and his timing in the tackle was fantastic, and he was magnificently underrated in his passing ability. He could pick out a pass. Paul Scholes wasn't that much better passing than Roy Keane, and people talk about Paul Scholes dictating games, and he did, and he was fantastic and all of that. But Roy Keane was doing it before him. And he was a big game player. You could get, to buy a prime Roy Keane now, a 26-year-old Roy Keane, you'd need to spend 180 million in today's market. Easily. Because he would carry a team. If you put Roy Keane in Manchester United's team right now, we'd probably win the league because he was that good. Perhaps that's a stretch because we need a goal scorer too, to be fair. But you get my point. But Roy Keane was just a magnificent player. It was a shame the way it ended, of course. But, I mean, he was a spent force by the time he left. And it's nice to see Roy Keane reinvent himself as a pantomime villain on Sky Sports and ITV and wherever else it is that he that he does the punditry. Because Roy Keane is just... He's worth the money. He was worth the money as a player, and he's certainly worth the money as a pundit. But, just to sort of come from a different angle on the punditry kind of thing, although he's funny and scathing and he tells the truth, I do feel as though he's harsh, especially on some of the younger players and stuff. I think it has affected the Manchester United dressing room because some of those young players are going to be listening to Roy Keane and looking up to Roy Keane. And if Roy Keane says anything bad about some young Man United midfielder, it's going to crush them. It's going to kill them. It is. So, yeah. I mean, he's making money off the back of destroying the confidence of some of these players at the same time. But it is funny, and it is entertaining, and he does have a point, and he does tell the truth. But it is what it is. Roy is who he is, and he makes no apologies about it. He makes no bones about it, and that's just Roy Keane. Hopefully, the Manchester United players and team can get back to a level that Roy Keane used to demand at the club. But anyway, if you've gotten this far in this video, you obviously like my content. I appreciate you listening to me muse about Roy Keane, our great Captain Fantastic. Tell me, please, I want to know in the comments, what are your favourite moments of Roy Keane? Not just in punditry, not just this year, not just in the past 10 years, but back as a player. What were your earliest memories of Roy Keane? What are your most memorable? And how much do you think Roy Keane would be worth in today's market? Put everything in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Merry Christmas.